All right, welcome back to Terrible at Technology. I'm going to tell you a little bit about my background, but before that, let's look at my little intro. There you go, my little intro. All right, so some of you have followed me for years on my Terrible at Fishing. And I started the Terrible at Fishing when I suffered a blood clot in my brain that paralyzed me for quite a while. And I just was doing it really to talk to somebody and get my mind off of my handicap. So my brain's still broken. I still speak from the right. I speak like Popeye, and I still suffer from lots of other issues. But before I got really, really sick, my career was for decades in electronics. I managed big box retail stores, but I also owned a international marketing company that focused on semi-conductors and inserting them into new markets. In that period of time, I was able to sit down with rocket scientists over at NASA in Huntsville, Alabama, and other physicists throughout the world, traveled the world, and was able to really, a good friend of mine invented what's called an FC LED, a flip chip LED. And the flip chip LED revolutionized the lighting industry. And I know it, or at least I used to, but I know it pretty good. The actual wafer design and the mechanics of that semiconductor. Now I'm an old computer guy too, of course. I mean, you've seen me build my recent computer, and then help my daughter build her computer. I'm going to build a computer for my son. So we're going to dive into the technology of today. Yes, it'll focus a lot on computers, but we're going to sort of take a look at lots of different things. We're going to share some videos with Terrible at Fishing because we'll go into sonar technology. But it sounds sort of boring, semiconductors, but semiconductors are in everything. Everything you do. I mean, it's in your car, it's in your phone, it's in your watch, it's in your computer, it's in everything. Semiconductors are one of those things that dictate our function in life nowadays. So my background of it is going to hopefully help you guys understand sort of the mechanics of it and get you to, I don't know, look at your watch or your computer a little bit differently. But when you buy stuff, the practical aspects of it is going to help you be smarter in what you do. I'm not a very smart man, but when I can sit down with rocket scientists over at NASA and hold my own, it made me feel smart because I knew something they didn't. But they know so much more than I do. I remember one time I was sitting down with a physicist over in the San Francisco Bay Area, and we went back and forth for hours. And it was a really nice guy. I mean, it really was a very nice guy, and we were sharing knowledge and designs and stuff like that. And he looked at me and he goes, "Where did you go to school?" So I go, "Lompoc High School." He goes, "No, college." I go, "I went to some college." And he goes, "You mean you're self-taught?" I go, "Yeah, I'm pretty much self-taught." And he was sort of aside himself that a guy could hold his own with him and talk intelligently about something that it took him so long, but he knows more than I do. Don't get me wrong. I mean, when it comes to the formulas and the this and that, and I mean, I was out of my league. But when it comes to, technology of understanding, I was the guy that, for the plain person, I could explain it to them. I mean, but if you talk to a physicist or a rocket scientist or somebody that just, they draw it up on the board and then all of a sudden, you just glaze over. Well, I wouldn't do that. I mean, I remember one time I was giving a presentation in front of somebody in Taiwan, and he is the inventor of the radio telescope. The radio telescopes are big giant dishes that are acres big, and he invented it, so I'm sitting down, actually I'm in front of him and his team and giving a presentation, and all of a sudden they stop me, and they go over to a whiteboard and they start drawing on it. And I look at my Taiwanese business partner, Eddie, and I go, Eddie, so what's going on? He goes, well, they're redesigning it based on what you've taught them. And so it made me feel really smart. Because here's a guy that is is a super genius. So I want you to realize that in this channel, you will learn stuff, but you'll learn it, sort of on a microfino, type of mentality. You will not learn it from, a rocket scientist, radio telescope, physicist type of mentality. But you'll understand what they do. And you'll understand it in a sort of layman's terms. So don't let this intimidate you a little bit. But we're going to focus a lot on computering. And so we got Bello. We got Bello. Bello visits all the time. This is my Maine Coon cat. He really is an awesome cat. So it'll be a fun channel. I haven't quite figured out all the different playlists. We'll definitely go into LED because I know it very well. A lot of people don't know LED. LED lighting and stuff like that. They have false ideas about it, and where the chips, how to buy them, and the heat they generate. A lot of people don't think they generate heat, but they do a lot of heat, and but they're efficient nonetheless. They are. But some of the designs, and I do still have some of those flip chips hanging around here someplace, including that rocket or the radio telescope guy. I think I still have his heat sink in my garage someplace that he designed for the FCLED. It's beautiful too. It really is gorgeous. We won some nice awards on it and stuff like that. And, even Philips, was it Philips? Yeah. Philips tried to reverse engineer it illegally. Yeah, those big companies, Philips and Cree, they own pretty much the LED market. But Philips tried to reverse engineer it in the Philippines. But we also patented the machine. And so we, those guys, they'll steal anything. You got to, you hear about China acquiring technology illegally. Well, they do. Even though we had a patent in China, that doesn't mean anything in China. So, and basically, you file a patent in China, you're telling them everything about your design, and they just steal it. So, nothing against the Chinese, it's the government, because I love the Chinese. But there are some parts of China that are absolutely wonderful. And so, I want you guys to sort of stick around the channel and see what you think. And if you have some suggestions, send me an email. And at terribleatfishing2019@gmail.com. So it's terribleatfishing2019@gmail.com. That's when I started the channel. It was 2019, so a few years ago. And it's done very well. And so I suggest you check that out too. hit the link below and check out Terrible Fishing. I got about 1,000 videos on that about fishing. And we're going to break the boat out here pretty soon. We're going to start working on that and go fishing. There are some lakes that are at lower elevations around here that are not frozen. Our lake is still frozen. So we're working on it. It's going to warm up the next day or two, and hopefully we'll get some open water in a couple weeks. But I want to thank you guys for stopping by. I know I've only got a few of you here, but tell your friends. And we're going to sort of dive into different technologies. But we're going to talk about computers a lot too. And I'll see what I can remember. I have a traveling computer down here that I used when I traveled the world. And it has schematics and designs and blueprints of lots of different technologies. And videos that you would be shocked. That Taiwan is the brains of the world. I mean, that's when China fell to communism after World War II, all the geniuses went over to Taiwan, and they invent just about anything you can think of, and things that you've never thought of. Absolutely amazing stuff over there. So, hopefully, Taiwan stays safe, because I have friends over there, and I care about people, but I have an attachment to Taiwan, so hopefully, they don't see war. But I want to thank you guys, and stay tuned, because I'm going to be working on some scripts and stuff like that, and outlines of things to talk about, and see what you think about it. You'll learn something, for sure. You will learn something on this channel. So even if you know a lot about computers, you're going to learn a lot of interesting stuff about them. But you're also going to learn some things that, to be honest, I shocked myself when I had a better brain. And, science is really an amazing thing. So stay tuned, and we will see you guys in a little bit.